Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. And my guest tonight is rock musician Kai Kaldro. Did I say your name right?
You did. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm always nervous about that, which is not the biggest deal in the world, but Kai Kaldro it is.
All right. Let's talk about your music video you're doing for this upcoming horror film, Desert Fiends. Tell me a little bit about that, your song.
Post Coital Pre Mortem, the song that was actually licensed the soundtrack before we even recorded the song itself. That was kind of like the catalyst for everything. What happened was about a year ago now, when I started working on what is evolved into this like rock opera of an LP, but a full album. But at the time was kind of this like little project. It was an EP. It was only going to be like four tracks long that I was doing. The first song that my guitarist and producer and we all did was Post Coital Pre Mortem, which I wrote. And when someone referred me to when one of the music supervisors, one of the producers for Desert Fiends, put out like a call on Facebook. They were looking for a cool alternative rock or metal songs for the soundtrack. I submitted this little rough demo recording of the song that I had, and very placidly, just like, hey, why not? And then I got a call back. They loved it, and they wanted to license the song even in its infant state to the film. And then they started telling me all about it. And unbeknownst to me, it had this huge fucking all-star cast of folks who, are all familiar faces from some of my favorite films that I've grown up with. I mean, the world to me. It's got Eric Roberts, Biling, Lorelei Linklater, she's in it. Tom Arnold, Lisa Wilcox. It's got everyone. Biling was the big one for me because The Crow is my favorite film of all time, and that's my favorite soundtrack where I discovered all my favorite bands as a kid that influenced me, like Nine Inch Nails and Stone Temple Pilots, Rage Against the Machine, Pantera. So that was like coming full circle. And so when I finally met her a few months ago at this horror convention in Atlantic City, it was like, coming full circle. But hopefully it's all just begun. And then subsequently we shot a music video, which I directed. And that was very film noir influence, which I always have been, but it was definitely more like kind of conflating that with like the really like, heavy horror and slasher type material, which I, in previous projects, had for whatever reason shied away from. I really got to go like full fucking throttle, and it got real bloody, and it was a lot of fun, and complete with my victim on camera, his eyes getting gouged out. And I know it was a great shoot, and it definitely was a turning point in terms of the what I want to do artistically. And now we're getting ready to shoot the video for the next song, Redial for Remnants, which that was released as a single a few months ago now. And for this next video, we're going to expand the cast and have like more of a backing band in the performance sequence, which I'm really excited about.
That's pretty cool. The video was great. It had a lot of great special effects in it. You had a great SFX artist in there too, making it bloody good. And you were rocking that red dress.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Yeah, that seems to be everyone's favorite. Sarah Frericks, my special effects artist, she's a fucking master. She's a prodigy. We connected over the pandemic, during the dark ages, in summer of 2020, and then we'd always stayed in touch, and we were always, I was always kind of throwing ideas at her, and she would, watch my stuff or listen to it, and then This was our first, professional collaboration. It felt like, first proper kind of like a Rob Zombie and Wayne Toth type deal. But she was great. She was even real patient about, I fucked up and I forgot to get to bring myself a bra for the prosthetic tits that I'm wearing under the red dress. And she was like, oh my God. And it was like a funny, like, fucking facepalm moment. And she, throughout the whole shoot, she was like using the prosthetic skin tape that she had to use to safely tape Larry, who plays the detective, his eyes shut. She like kept trying to use that to secure the fake boobs onto me. And which it was kind of slippery because it was like an adhesive. It wasn't like meant to hold anything in place, but we had to that under the time sensitivity we were under that made things all the more stressful. But we took care of it, and now lesson learned for next time, because that's not the last time I'm gonna be in that I guess what I like to call it, the Dame of the Dead alter ego on camera. She's coming back, but any case, Sarah, she was amazing, and definitely look forward to working with her again on this next video.
Now you're also going to be part of another film too, the Farmhouse Murders too.
Oh yeah, yeah, that one is actually getting shot pretty close to home here. I think the creative team, or they're shooting over in Jersey, and I'm in New York City, so yeah. I hope I can be on set for it too, but my song that's coming out, but by the time this episode's released, it'll be out, but it's coming out tomorrow night at midnight, His Girl Friday the 13th. This one, now unlike Desert Fiends, which, I have no idea how the song is going to be used in the film, or how much or how little, but for Farmhouse Murders, and this film actually has a few of the same, kind of creative team and family as Desert Fiends. It's got the director of Desert Fiends, Sean C. Phillips, acting in it. And one of the cast members from Desert Fiends is the director for this film, Kevin Duffy. He was a really cool guy, reached out to me about music. And Larry Hankin, who is best known for, I best know him as the cop in Home Alone, who Catherine O'Hara, Kevin's mother, calls up when she realizes, the mistake that has been made, and he has all those stupid questions for her that don't help. That whole scene always cracked me up as a kid. But Larry Hankin, the cop there in Home Alone, but he's also in Escape from Alcatraz and Breaking Bad, and I've never seen Friends, but apparently he's on there in a role that is significant enough that he returned for a recent reunion. Yeah, Larry Hankin seems like a cool dude. And then Merlin Taylor, who was, I think the character's name is Mike. He was Mike, one of the kids in the original Stephen King It miniseries with Tim Curry from the 90s. So yeah, it's got some good folks attached to it, and that one I think they're gonna begin principal photography on soon.
Yes. Now let's talk about a good friend of ours we both know really well. He's a filmmaker. Let's talk about John Eisenberg.
My buddy, I love John. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's one hell of a guy. The first time I met him was I met him at Whorehound in Cincinnati, because he was showing his indie horror film, which you can see on Amazon, Final Summer.
Yeah, I've seen that 4 times now, I think. Yeah, no, I love that movie. We saw it. He screened it at Smodcastle, Kevin Smith's theater, across the river over in New Jersey, and I always love going there. It's a great place, great neighborhood in Atlantic Highlands, and he screened it there last spring, and Kevin Smith was there. We all hung out. It was a good time, yeah, no, I love John. He's one of my best working colleagues, and we've been in a kind of negotiations about some kind of collaboration for Final Summer too, because I know he's getting started on that. But I loved Final Summer, and I was really blown away by it. I'm generally I've never really been into that whole like summer camp slasher genre. Well, it's not that I haven't been into it, but I'm kind of agnostic towards it because they're good. Like, it's good popcorn fun, but generally, like, I don't know. I like stuff that's more character driven instead of just like horny kids waiting to get killed. And this one was like it was quietly brilliant. It was very character driven with the actress, the main actress Jenna Khan. She was fucking blew me away. She was great, and I love the direction and kind of the subversion and the kind of it feels like a good mission statement about kind of like a revisionist summer camp slasher. And I thought it was great. I thought it really had a lot of balls and it had a lot of brains too. And I'm a huge fan. Anything John does, I'll watch or I'll support. He's a great guy. And I have not met his wife Jen in person, but she seemed, both seem like great people.
Yeah, he is.
Great people.
Yeah, very great people. I'm getting to know him pretty well too. He's a real cool dude, and I didn't know he was going to do Final Summer 2. Thanks for telling me about that. I'll definitely check that out. But I also got a Final Summer t-shirt I wear sometimes, and everywhere I rock that shirt, everybody's like, "Where'd you get that cool tee at?"
Yeah, that's a bitchin' poster. That was the first thing I saw of it when he and I connected, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" The villain, one of the villains at least, the one who is kind of serves as like the monolith, like the pinhead for Hellraiser, who shows up. He had very really distinct look. I love how visually unique the film is, given kind of the resources and the confines of it being out in the woods and everything. Has a really distinct look, and I love how fast moving it is. Like that it feels like there's it starts instantly, and you just never a moment of breathe to breathe until the end, and somehow he squeezed a lot of great subtle moments with the characters, and the main girl with her Lex, I think is the character's name, with her post-traumatic stress in there. And I like kind of how she has these flashbacks, that are totally like MOS. They're silent, I think, and as the way they correlate with what's going on in the present unraveling, and the way certain questions about our character are revealed. I don't know if they're gonna bring her back as the protagonist for the second one, but I'd love to see that. I'd love to see more of that character, and I know the film really had a human touch to it that elevated it. I think.
Yeah, let's also talk about your unique style. You're kind of a little unique, kind of a songwriter musician, man. Your style is kind of like an Alice Cooper type of wild style.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. He all the theatrical rock guys are up there for me, and Alice is up there. It was really surreal meeting him the last month or the month before at Monster Mania in Philadelphia. He was a really cool dude, and it was a truly surreal moment. But yeah, so the sound that, for all intents and purposes, I've always felt as though, music, at least, being a singer-songwriter, it's the same thing as acting. I think generally people are accustomed to, music that's autobiographical, where, the singer is like the surrogate for the listener. And whenever anything isn't written, whenever anything is written not in the first person, or it's, a character, suddenly, people take that at face value, and then you get all the boogeymen. That's how all the boogeymen, so to speak, like Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson and Gene Simmons, and all the guys from Slipknot, that's how they were all born, but it's like, to me, it's acting. It's, the same thing as, like, Malcolm McDowell isn't Alex DeLarge in Clockwork Orange. He goes, and everyone, like, he goes home after work playing whichever crazy character, and, that's it. And I embrace that theatricality when it comes to what I do. My whole thing is that I guess, I try to. There are a number of thematic things I pursue musically, but I like my two favorite, I guess, kind of films growing up were, all the old Technicolor, black and white mystery or detective films, all the film noir stuff, all of Alfred Hitchcock or John Huston's films, and who's the other big one I'm forgetting? Howard Hawks, right?
Yeah.
And the other side of that coin is that at the same time I loved all, a lot of, the moody, gothic, bloody stuff that had, was very much also within like a heavy metal, contingency, like The Crow being my favorite movie. And I loved, basically all the big horror franchises like, Nightmare on Elm Street or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So, trying to conflate those two in a way that kind of sardonically, I think kind of flips the script on all the old Hollywood stuff. I think what I'm getting at, and kind of the whole crux for the album that's been in the making, that these singles have been drip fed from, is in some old Hollywood type setting, the curtain is pulled back to reveal all the, I think, really obvious and kind of hilariously transparent attempts to obfuscate, all the blood and sex and lewd stuff in those old movies and in old Hollywood, that the Hays Code, had stipulations very prudishly and in denial of human nature about, at the time. So that's sort of the dark humor and the crux of a lot of my music. I don't know. I never really try to be actively provocative. I just try to entertain, but I think being shocking and being entertaining, those two are oftentimes synonymous. And the reality of it is that I think a lot of imagery and a lot of the energy and atmosphere of horror movies and harder rock or heavy metal, they truthfully, they hold the audience, their attention span better than a lot of other things. And I think, for the naysayers who, are like so repulsed and will condemn that these, that rock or, that metal and horror, it's all depraved, and, say all that, stodgy, bullshit about like, oh, this is in bad taste, yada, 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 yada. I think they're alarmed by not being able to, by the fact they can't turn their brain off as easily as they can when they're listening to all the, shitty pop and hip-hop music, as they can when they're watching whichever big, dumb, $5 billion, gajillion dollar Marvel comic book movie. In any case, reeling it back into my music, the intention is the kind of like the main atmospherically and musically, the idea is we're going for a groove, and always something that's distinct, and it sticks with you, because I feel like in a sense, like a lot of like quote unquote metal guys, like I'm kind of alien to them, because like I try to go for groove and a certain catchiness, whereas I think a lot of metal guys, like, I've never been into the thrash shit where it's like the drums sound like a typewriter and the guitar sounds like you're pulling a chain on a lawnmower. You get all these like bands with the big ugly like bald bearded biker guys. And it's just like, like when people like say like, oh, I hate that music, it's just noise. It's like, I'm not, those guys are, but I'm not, I think, and also, I mean, I try to transcend what I think is bled into a lot of harder rock and metal these days. And I want to say in like the last 20 years, which is this like element of a forced angst and rage and, being pissed off and, fucking like sexually repressed and this and yada yada. And it's like, I get it. Like, I sympathize the world can suck and everything, but, I seek to make, music and any kind of form of art that can transcend, our world or anyone's, whatever they're going through in their life. I think, I don't want to make art that reflects reality. I want to do something, make something that transcends reality and is otherworldly. So, that's the beauty of it. And I really try to embrace that, I'd rather go to some far distant, weird, world. I mean, I don't know if it's the world that I want to see, because it's definitely weird and dystopian and very much, reflective of horror and film noir. But I would say it's definitely a more entertaining one than I think maybe the one we live in, or the one that a lot of guys out there you hear on the radio, on the alternative stations, are bitching and moaning about. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about your new song that's going to be coming out on Friday. His Girl, Friday the 13th.
That's right.
Yeah, I listened to it. Boy, it kind of gave me like a Hitchcocking / Rob Zombie kind of a aura mixed in your music, and I love the guitar riffs in that whole song, man. I played it like 3 times. I was jamming it to myself. But yeah, that's what the song reminded me of. Like kind of like a mini horror film as well as a little bit too. It just gave me that Hitchcocking Rob Zombie vibe feel to it when I was listening to it.
Well, I appreciate that. That's kind of the crux of what I go for thematically in my music and in the sound. So I appreciate if I can conflate those two unlikely entities, one not even being musical. So thanks, buddy. That one was, that one I was just straight up like when I was talking to when we were in sessions in the beginning, when I was talking with my guitarist and producer, I was like, this one has to be the most it's got to be the most ostentatious of everything on the record, but it's got to be, it's got to have, groove to it as well. That one I really wanted to just go all out with creating, the atmosphere and world building and, doing a lot of layering in the tracks. And I think the lyrics, which, definitely I'm going to have some pretty polarized interpretations of the idea, because I'll be brief because I want to allow people to have those. I think my intention going in was, I want to, kind of reflect sort of a state of affairs in old Hollywood with what's going on now. I think behind the scenes a lot, in which no one doesn't get a lot of mention, or people are kind of like it's like an elephant in the room. I think what you see, what was the case, in the 40s and 50s, where, in that post-World War II era, when all those classic films, all the Hitchcock and John Huston, Howard Hawks, all that stuff was made, it was this post-World War II, homogenized, everything is clean and wholesome, in the 50s especially, that when the Hays Code really got prevalent, there was this there's this false, impression of, moral values in Hollywood being promoted, when in fact, Hollywood was fucking owned and run by the mob. And I think that was sort of there kind of is political correctness and kind of this Hollywood, homogenization. It goes in waves, because you had that in the 50s when it got really intense, and then I think by the end of the 60s when like it got really intense hard hitters like Rosemary's Baby and Easy Rider and what's the big one I'm thinking of? Bonnie and Clyde, that all ended, and then you got the 70s, which is like super fucking gritty, and then the 80s, just so it's kind of gone in in waves, and I think we're in a funny wave of that right now, where Hollywood is, it has this like kind of like people pleasing, suave and artifice, face of being evolved and progressive and wholesome and everything. When I think there's still like it's weird to think like that. It's funny to think that kind of mentality and what gets promoted was like political correctness and polite language and what's acceptable. Censorship was in essence, if not created, popularized and corporatized by all these scumbags throughout the years, by people back in the Hays Code days, and then by people I don't want to name any names because I don't want to be too much of an agitator here, but some pretty obvious ones who have since been shit canned and sent to jail, rightfully so. And I mean, I tried to reflect that kind of that hypocrisy, and I try to kind of keep it totally fictitious and thematic. In with the last two songs, those were more like very pretty fictitious. This one is too, obviously, because it's it's horror themed and everything is supernatural, but there is an element of in there about that is reflecting some real world stuff, and that I think if this one is the most like ostentatious, or sorry, that's the wrong term, if this one is the most provocative or pissed off or what have you, or the most the scariest of the tracks on the album, it's for that reason, but we had a lot of fun recording it, and there was a really fucking funny moment when we were recording it, and we didn't make the revision until on the day. So the chorus of the song, Academy Awards for all the wrong bitches till I fuck his girl Friday. Initially, when I during the rehearsal process, I kept singing the last part, like kind of more like in the rhythm of the guitar part, and then eventually my producer he was like no, it can't be, it's got to be like, you got to kind of like emphasize it and fall out of rhythm, to get that effect you're going for, like don't go till I fuck his girl Friday, it's got to be till I fuck his girl Friday. And I died laughing when he said that, and he was like, why is this funny? This, of all things in this song, like seriously, this is what gets you? And I was like, well, it sounds like, it's being written to like, either like killing someone or fucking someone. And, it's got that like boom, 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 boom rhythm. And like when it breaks like that, it sounds like a premature death or a premature climax, And he was like, no, it's not premature. That is the climax. You got to feel it hard. And I died laughing, and it was a fun bonding moment for all involved. Yeah. For however intense these songs are, they're recorded in lighthearted company. And that's always good. I don't think we take ourselves too seriously.
Hey man, that song rocked. I was rocking till, like I said, I just love to get the guitar in it, to get the little riffs here and there. If the guitar was like, I mean,
that's my guitar wise. It's my favorite of the three singles that have been released. Andre Vasconcelos, my guitarist, he kicks ass. He's a beast. He's like he is a score composer in essence. I mean, amongst many things, commercials, video games, but he's really adaptable. And when I brought the whole like kind of outline and like the like rough like demo, which I did with like the like kind of an idea rhythmically with like the fake piano and garage band. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I have like something like kind of. But he just I was like, no, I got something better. I know what you want, which he always does, and he went for it. And all involved, I was really impressed by. And I was just kind of telling this again the other day because I got so caught up in getting the song submitted to distributors and through DistroKid and getting it out ready for streaming. But I circled back around and I was like, guys, this like really impressed and grateful for all of you. And it seems to be with everyone involved, from them to the cover artist, my colleague Harrison Wemerson from Brazil, who I discovered in after he did the Taylor Momsen the Pretty Reckless, one of their like promo comics. He's been my cover artist for a little while. He amongst him and then my vocal coach April Draven from Downriver, check them out, they're a fucking great band, to Alex Cresciani from Stygian Sound in LA, who mastered the song. Like they all collectively were like, no, this is the best one yet. And I was like, well, great, that helps. So I can't wait for everyone to hear it, and I appreciate your endorsement towards it too, buddy.
I did. Like I said, I do agree with you. That I love this song. Like you were saying about the guitars, I'm just a big fan of guitar playing, and where they go from soft to hard and really super hard. I just love talented guitar musicians and how they make the song sound good. To me, besides the bass player, I consider them like the unsung heroes of the band.
Yeah. So for all interested, go reach out to my guitarist Andre Vasconcelos. That one. Yeah, the previous two were a little more like it was kind of back and forth between guitar and synth elements. This one was more of a hard hitter, I think we're gonna continue with this sound for the next song too. I think we're gonna kind of stick with the texture of guitar driven industrial rock. For the next song, I think we're gonna try doing something a little more I don't know if upbeat or uplifting is the right term, but I think we're gonna try something that's I don't know, more of like a straightforward like kind of crowd pleaser, like AC/DC's Highway to Hell, or speaking of Alice Cooper, like School's Out, because that'd be an interesting experiment, like how hard can you go with it still being upbeat? I think that's a musical dissonance that I'm interested in exploring. So the hits will keep on coming. There's never any shortage of ideas or music or anything from me. Like anyone, like sometimes I run out of time, I run out of budget, but I never run out of energy and passion. So yeah, always be some crazy shit coming from old Uncle Kai.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of your music. So where can everybody find you on social media and check out your music?
I'm on Instagram is the main one that I use. That's at Kai, Kai, Kaldro, Kaldro. And then I'm also on Facebook. And then my Spotify and YouTube is the same as my name, Kai Kaldro. And as of right now, I'm not on TikTok. I've been like trashing it for years, ever since it got big. But from what I'm gathering as of late, like if you're a musician, you have to be on there. Otherwise, the music will not get out there. Everyone's telling me that. That they're imploring me to give it a shot. So I might be on there soon. I'm not sure yet. If I do, it will be probably pretty sparingly, but I don't know. Fingers crossed. But in any case, those are my socials, and thank you for having me, Robin. I appreciate it. And,
hey,
it's great talking.
thanks for coming out of your busy time to come on and chat with me on the.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and looking forward to meeting you in the near future at a gig or a horror film festival. Some near.
Oh, hell yeah. Are you based out in Chicago?
No, I grew up in California, but I'm based out of Cincinnati right now.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I mean, between I have faith that within all the horror conventions and festivals circulating from east to west in this country, the day will come soon.
Exactly.
I mean, I found my way somehow down in Florida this last year for one. I might be going out west or something this year. I'm not sure yet for Days of the Dead, but we'll see. But I have faith we will meet, and I'm looking forward to it. But thank you for having me. It meant a lot.
Yeah, and everybody, thank you for listening to Horror Pop After Midnight. Have a great evening.